Thanks for making it to Veterans Info Tap. I'm glad you made it. Don't miss out on tens of thousands of dollars simply because you're not ready to file your claim. There's two things I'm going to talk about here. Many of you already know and understand the intent to file. Okay, I'm going to double down on that a little bit, but also give an important, I'll call it a secret tip. A tip that nobody ever talks about with regard to your intent to file and preserving your effective date. Effectively extending how long your intent to file can be. Typically, it's a 1-year process, right? That's how much time you have to get your stuff together and get your claim filed. I got a workaround for you. I'm going to share it with you here. After we talk about it, we'll also talk into some claim stuff, getting that initial claim going and what have you. All right, so with that, let's jump into it. Hit the thumbs up for me, subscribe, share with a friend, all that good stuff. I truly appreciate it. Every thumbs up and every minute watched helps to push this information out to others, and that is the name of the game, right? Many hands make light work, and we don't want people to be left in the dark. If you want to support the channel in other ways, consider being a member. Thank you so much to all you members. I truly appreciate your support. Thank you very much. You can go to the homepage. You'll see the highlighted members as they scroll across, and you'll see a join button there. Thank you again for your support. All right, so let's jump into it. The intent to file, that is the 210966. That's the form 0966. Starting with the 21. So 21-0966 is the intent to file form. It is a super easy form to fill out. If you are even 1% thinking that you're going to ever file a claim or file a new claim or whatever it is, or grandma or grandpa or aunt or uncle or whoever is on the fence, file an intent to file. There's absolutely no obligation on your part. You can just let it go, which I don't suggest, but it is not going to harm you or hold you to do anything. But what it does do is it preserves your effective date, meaning that as long as, and again, I'm going to give you the workaround in a minute. I got to explain how it all works first. So effectively what will happen will be you file your intent to file. Now, my suggestion, just because the VA doesn't always get it right, is maybe call the VA a few days later and make sure that they actually received your intent to file and have it in their system. Now what's going to happen is you have a year from that date to file your claim. And if you do so, most likely they will utilize the intent to file date as your effective date for any sort of back pay. I mean, if it's $1,000 rating, right, or an increase, or your initial filing or whatever, it's $1,000 a month. Well, if it took you 12 months to get it together and file, and then another 6 months, well, that's 18 months. That's $18,000 in back pay that you would get. So it's a really important thing. The other reason why you would want to file an intent to file right away, as you're even starting to think about anything, is it takes the pressure off and will allow you to fully develop your claim and document and get all the evidence you need and get all that stuff together before you file. Otherwise, you start to feel really antsy and you just want to get your claim filed as soon as possible to get it in the works, which could backfire, which you don't want. So it takes the pressure off a little bit, allows you to gather evidence. If you need to order your records, your service treatment records, you can do that with the SF-180 form, SF-180. Get that ordered and go to your doctor and do that type of stuff. And meanwhile, you know that you have a preserved date. So all that's great. The question here now is, well, what happens if life got in the way? I really wasn't sure if I was going to file anything. I didn't really pay any attention to it. I just filed my intent to file and I sat on my hands for 6 months. Then I finally thought, maybe I should start looking into it. Started digging through the garage to find any paperwork that I could from my time in service. Months are going away. I order my records. I haven't received them yet. And now here I am at 11 and a half months and my intent to file is going to expire in 2 weeks. What do you do, right? you have to do something. Well, I guess you don't have to do anything. If you don't do anything, your intent to file is going to expire, and so is that effective date. Now, what you could do is you could let it expire, put in another intent to file, and continue trying to document your stuff. Meanwhile, you've just lost 12 months of potential back pay. My suggestion here and the workaround is, let's say that you've decided that you think you're going to file for 5 things, but you don't have any of the nexus information because you're waiting, in this example, for information from your service treatment records, and you don't have it. Well, you have your diagnosis, and you have, maybe you can even get a nexus letter, at least as likely as not from your time in service, from your doctor, right? Maybe you can try to manufacture some of that stuff, maybe work on buddy statements, whatever. But let's say, for just argument's sake here, that you do not have sufficient evidence for, 3 of your 5 claims. File your claim within the 12 months, right? You're at 11 and a half months. File your claim with all 5 conditions. Even the 3 that you know don't have everything you need. You're still going to list them down on the 21526EZ. You're still going to list them, right? You're still going to list my ankle that I twisted on a run that I got documented, my migraines that I got documented when I was in service, my bad back that I got documented, right? I'm going to write in all of those things that I'm filing for, even though I know that most likely, 99% chance, they're going to deny me for those 3. I'll probably get approved for my other 2 because I have a fully developed claim for all that stuff, and I feel good with it. So what might happen is the VA is going to come back and they're going to go, denied for those first 2, or excuse me, approved for the first 2, denied for the other 3 because you don't have all of the sufficient evidence, which we knew when we filed the claim. But now what has happened is the VA gives you another year from that date to contest that decision. And you can contest that decision with providing additional evidence. Oh, look at that. 6 months after my denial, my records show up from National Archives, and look, I have new and relevant evidence that I'm going to now submit with my supplemental claim. The supplemental claim is a great option for that because it allows you to provide additional evidence. And that's the 200995 form that you would utilize there. So you'll file that supplemental claim within 1 year of the denial or the unsatisfactory decision, right? As long as you file it within 1 year, you're still preserving that original effective date. It's very important. So don't miss out on tens of thousands of dollars. Again, if it's $1,000 swing, either from you had no claim before, right, and now you have $1,000, or if you increased your rating from whatever to whatever, and it went up $1,000, you're looking at, potentially tens of thousands of dollars with going this route. Do not let your effective date expire. Very important, right? A lot of us, just on the little side note, especially if we're not taking in information on how it all works, right? If we're just trying to do it ourselves with very little information, we get very frustrated very easily because it seems like it should be so simple. And when the VA comes back with an unfavorable decision, we throw our hands up in the air and we walk away and we're irritated and frustrated. And next thing you know, it's been a year and a half. And then we go back and then we've missed out on our effective date and then we're mad again. And so don't be in that boat. Preserve your effective date. Keep that money coming to you and going into your pocket. I'm going to just touch real quick on the 3 things that you need for your claim. And that would be for any original claim, barring presumptive conditions, okay? forget presumptive conditions for this example. If you're just trying to get a standard service connection, you need to prove your time in service. You need, and that's going to be with your DD-214. You need to prove you have a condition, right? You can't just self-diagnose. Who are you, right? You need to go get diagnosed by an actual medical professional, right? A doctor. Let them diagnose you. If you get a prescription for something, that prescription is also helping to solidify that diagnosis, because no doctor is going to prescribe you something to treat something that you don't have, right? So all of that comes into effect. In some cases, small amount. In some cases, the fact that you're taking a medication will actually help you get a higher rating. So with that, you need to have that diagnosis that's chronic in nature or has some sort of residual effects, okay, from a doctor diagnosis. That's number 2. Number 3, you need to have what they call a nexus, a link between your time in service and your diagnosed condition. What the VA is saying here is they're not saying, show me 100% that your condition was caused by your time in service. That's not what they're saying. Now, of course, if your condition was in fact caused by your time in service, sure, you're going to get service connected. But really what they're saying is show me, this is the VA, show me that your condition manifested during your time in service or is a result from your time in service in some shape, way, fashion. So looking at it in that mindset is different because, how can you prove that your heartburn, right, or your hiatal hernia or your migraines were a result of your time in service, right? Unless it is a presumptive, which we're leaving out of this, right? It's hard to prove that was caused by your time in service. But the VA isn't looking for that. The VA is looking for, show me that it manifested during your time in service or as a result in your time in service in some way, right? So the fact that they're saying, show me that it manifested during your time in service is a much broader spectrum of conditions that you could potentially file for. So don't miss out on those. Thank you for watching. I appreciate you. Have a great one. And remember, if we don't take care of each other, something went wrong.